All right, we're back. We're still on page 98 of math analysis, and we're going to do a really similar problem, but it looks kind of different. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of like make a let thing so that I can rearrange this and see what I want to do. So I'm going to say let A equal cosine inverse of -3/5. And then B is going to be the sine inverse of 8/17. And C will be the tan inverse of -12/5. All right, so with all of that, I can clean this up and make it look better at least. So this will be the sine of 2a minus b plus c. So I'm going to go another step on that just to get, I'm trying to get something I want to work with. I don't want to work with any of this yet. So I'm going to say sine of 2a plus c minus b. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to group those. So that's the problem that I'm going to try to do. And so to do that, I'm going to do, let's just formula this thing first. Sine, sine, and then cosine, and then plus cosine, and sine. All right, and then what's not going to be great about this, we're like way over. What's not going to be great about this is I got to find the sine of 2a, the cosine of 2a, the cosine of c minus b, and the sine of c minus b. So we got to find all of this. So this problem has a lot in it. Let's draw some triangles. So for A, it's inverse cosine and it's negative, so it's got to be quadrant 2. So this will be A. And so -3, oh God, -3 goes here, 4 goes here, and 5 goes there. All right, so I know I need to find the sine of 2a and the cosine of 2a, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the sine of 2a is 2 times sine a cosine a. So it's going to be 2 times. The sine of a is 4/5. The cosine of a is -3/5. So this will be -24/25. All right. So far, not bad. And then we need the cosine of 2a, which I have 3 choices for. So sometimes for whatever, I like to pick sometimes the ratio that lets me square the smallest number. So like I'm going to go with cosine is the smaller ratio. I'm going to do 2 cosine squared minus 1. So that'll be 2. If you look at the triangle, the cosine of a is -3/5. And then minus 1. So that's 2, 18 over 25. And I'll just say minus 25 over 25. So I get -7 over 25, which actually I should have known because -7, 24, 25 is a Pythagorean triple. And so as soon as I got 24 over 25, I should have known that the other one was going to be 7 over 25. But I wasn't thinking, which, you know, that plagues everyone from time to time. So I've got sine of 2a is this, and I'm going to substitute that right there eventually. And then I have the cosine of 2a is this, and I'm going to substitute that here eventually. But now I'm going to find these c minus b things. So I got to have my triangle for b and my triangle for c. So b is inverse sine, and it's positive, so quadrant 1. So it's 8, 15, 17. C is inverse tangent and negative, so it's going to be quadrant 4. Bad triangle and stuff, but that's okay. -12, 5, and 13. All right, so sine of, I need the cosine of c minus b and the sine of c minus b. So I guess I'll start with cosine. Cosine of c minus b is going to be cosine, cosine, and then it alternates, so plus sine, sine. All right, so what are we plugging in here? Cosine of c, we can see in our triangle, is this over this. So that's going to be 5/13. Cosine of b is going to be this over this. So 15, 17ths. And now it's looking like I probably don't want to do this by hand. The sine of C is this over this. So negative 12 over 13. And then the sine of B is going to be what? Oh, this over this. So 8 over 17. All right. Do I definitely not want to do this by hand? I don't know. 50, 75 minus 96 over, so it's 170 plus, what am I doing? 13 and 17, I guess. So what I was really trying to do, what I was doing in my head was, I was kind of doing 10 plus 3 times 17, which will give me 170 plus 51, 221. So, I mean, sometimes that's like a really useful thing to do. So what is this? Negative 21 over 221, I think. And I'm going to move this. I'm going to keep it because it's useful to see that, but I'm going to leave that up there. Now we got to do the sine of C minus B. And I should just be using a calculator to speed this up, but something kind of fun about doing arithmetic every once in a while. So this will be sine, cosine, minus, because it's sine, so it's the same sign, and then cosine, sine. All right. So we kind of know these about, assuming I got them right the first time, I can peel them off my work above. I find that on paper, it's easier to keep going back to the triangle. When I'm making these digitally, I find it easier to like do a really good, clear job in my work and just read them off of previous problems, it's super risky. I don't think it's really a good idea, but like sine of C, so it's this. Now I need cosine of B, so it's this. So it'll be 15. Whoops. 15 over 17. That's going to be minus. Then the cosine of C, 5 over 13. And then there's only one that I didn't use, but let's go searching. So sine of B, 8 over 17. Like this. We're doing it by hand again? I guess so. Negative 180. Because of the factor pairs that multiply to 180, that's like way, way back. And then minus 40 over 221. So I get, wow, negative 220 over 221. So that means that C minus B, the sine of C minus B is super close to negative 1, which means that C minus B must be super close to 3 pi over 2, because the sine of 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. So that's not really important here, but it's interesting. All right, so we got more values that we're going to plug in. So we're going to plug in cosine of C minus B. We'll replace with this up there. And then sine of C minus B, we're going to replace with that. Whew. All right, let's see. So I'm going to get, let's just show the work, and then I'm definitely using a calculator. Negative 24 over 25. And then I can see negative 21 over 25. That's why, 221. Color coding is really useful. Negative 7 over 25. I know, like I don't think I would do it in the real world. I don't know. I'd like to think that I would, but I also know that I wouldn't. Negative 220 over 221. So actually kind of returning to that conversation about how it's almost 3 pi over 2, since sine and cosine are both negative, we also know it's quadrant 3 angle. So, you know, a lot of interesting things. All right, so I keep saying that I'm not going to do this. This would not be that bad to do by hand, but I'm going to do it on the calculator anyway, because we don't have all day, except maybe we do. Who knows? All right, so what I'm ultimately trying to do is the sine of 2 arc cosine of negative 3/5 minus the arc sine of 8 over 17 plus the arc tangent of negative 12 over 5. That's what we're trying to do. We got negative 24 over 25 times negative 21 over 221 plus negative 7 over 25 times negative 220, I had trouble saying that, over 221. Oh, got it. 2044 over 5 over something equals 2044 over 5525, 5525. And I made a messy 5, so let me fix that before I even show it to you. Okay, let's go back to the notes so you can look at this one more time. This was good work. So this is, again, like, neat and organized wins out, like, every time. If you know what you're doing, if you memorize your formulas, if you're neat and organized, I recommend apparently having 4 different highlighters, because then you can really quickly see what needs to go where. It's a really nice visual. I'm going to end this here. I'll be back in the next video to do some more. So I will see you then.